I jotted a few things down here as I was doing this post. And I don't know, I really love what happened when I changed the corners around. And I thought a lot about, how working with quilt blocks is very much like that. And probably a lot of the quilt designs, the ones that even have names, how they might have started out like this. Rearranging something, having it take on new form, and then feeling connected with that in some way, and making an effort to record its impression on the maker, which probably caused the maker to name it in some way, because probably it reminded them of something. I'm just thinking about that a lot. I'm not really thinking about technique right now. I could talk about that later. But simply how that process of allowing one thing to become another, and how personal that becomes sometimes, especially if you're not really concerned with imitating something or trying to acquire the skill of something that you've seen before. So this has caused a lot of thoughts this morning, and as I wrote down notes, I thought about that, writing down notes, and why we write down notes, and probably how we try to catch the thought and record it. And I think a lot of times the reason for that is to save it, or to keep it, or in some way even to own it. And as I think a lot about the journal that I'm trying to revisit and record and document, I'm somehow taking a freer approach to that in my mind this morning, thinking that, why we want to do that, holding on to those things, what is so important about that? Now that I look at this journal page, I think to myself, I wrote it down and I had a lot of thoughts, but what if I just go back and look at the picture of the smoke and the block that I made and all those things? What if I just let the original thoughts go? I'm thinking now that every time you revisit something, it moves through you again, and probably you would have some different things to say about it. And I'm thinking that by letting the structure of it go and just revisiting it in the new moment, perhaps that's how the thoughts evolve. I'm just thinking that today, so I'm not going to really talk about anything else, really. The last thing that struck me is that center square, and how I like the arrangement here, but I don't really like that square, and I think it's simply because it has that vertical thing running through it. But it's all I had, and probably tomorrow it won't be all I have. And I just really, really do like how the cornered thing became something freer, I guess, and how the blueness can now move through in some sort of continuous way.